Hi, this is Natalie with the Fifth Journey. I'm going to be doing one of the new Brambleberry fragrances, Alpine Frost, in their new collection. And I'm going to be doing a lot of different things. So the first thing I want to do, I'm kind of trying to do a scenery, a mountain scene, and I'm going to do a angled pour with the black, and then I'm going to put a little bit of white on top of it, kind of like a mountain. Then my plan is to do some little swirls in there, and then I have all of these trees that I'm going to, these are LCP low sweat glycerin soaps, and I did add fragrance to these, that I'm going to stack up as tightly as I can and then put some sky swirls in there. Now here's one thing, and I think this may be just a labeling issue because I looked at their website, because I ordered these in two different sets. This one says it discolors to tan, and this one says there's no discoloration. Both of them do say slight acceleration on them. I looked at the website, it says no discoloration, and none of the comments had anything on there. So just in case, I'm going to go ahead and use this one in with the activated charcoal, and so I don't have to worry about that. This one can go in with the rest, and I'll probably kind of be adding the fragrance in at different times because it does cause a slight acceleration. I don't want to have a mess, and I'd like to do an in the pot swirl with the sky on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm doing a little bit smaller of a batch of actual cold process to account for the extra trees, and this is my standard recipe, plus I put some shea butter in there as well. But we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll fast forward through all this. We'll come back at the end. Okay, we ready to cut the Alpine Frost? I am kind of nervous that there may be some bubbles in between the trees because the batter was quite a bit thicker, especially adding the titanium dioxide and adding in that fragrance oil. So there's no discoloration. You can see I have, well, if you can see, there is a little bit of glycerin rivers right here, that's okay. We've got some neat little swirls right there. I haven't cut any of the ends off yet. And I didn't add a lot of the activated charcoal because I was wanting more of a gray versus a straight up black. So we have that nice gray here, and then here it is more of a black with that marbled look. So I'm really excited to see how this turns out. I have the two loaves, and I'm going to go ahead, trim the sides and cut off the ends, and then we'll see what it looks like on the inside. We're all done cutting them, and I'm really excited about them. So all the bars have at least one side that is good. So remember, we had put those embeds stacked up, and they were a 3D image, so there are some of them that aren't going to be like the full image, but this one and this one came out really, really good. So this was that darker color, and then this one was a lighter one. They're actually both an evergreen mica, just coming from different companies. So we've got those really awesome swirls in the sky. We've got the awesome swirls down here. And we have that snow right there that does have the glycerin rivers in it, but I think it really gives it some neat textures. And let me show you a couple of them that I'll have to kind of clean up a little bit. Now real quick, when I was pushing down, I could feel it resist a little bit once I hit those embeds. So there's a couple of them that do have a little bit of a curve, like if you can see it like that one, get a good angle. It kind of bumps out a little bit as it hit that embed, but that will be okay. So let me find one. Okay, so like this one, you can see we've got a good tree on one side, but this was where there's a very, very fine tree right there. Actually, it kind of looks like a gingerbread man right there. There's a little bit of a fine tree, and then there's some darker color there. So it would have been the front of one of them and the back side of another one. And let's see, find another one. That one's a pretty good one. And this one just got, so like the 3D, so this was just like the bottom part of the tree. But we have a good tree on the other side. So this worked out really, really well. I'm really happy with how it went. So probably what I'll do in the future, making this design, is I did not use the leaf lard batter, soap batter that I do, so probably switching to that because that slows down your trace and that gives you a little bit more time to play with designs. So with this one, you know, this one set up really nice. This layer was still a little bit soft when I put the trees in, so maybe let that one harden up a little bit more. And then pouring that a little bit more fluid because I had to bang it down quite a bit to make sure all those air pockets were filled, which really it did a good job of filling up in there. So, you know, definitely I want to do this design again. I think it's a lot of fun, or at least this idea, but probably switching over to the leaf lard recipe instead of my standard one because that standard one is a little bit thicker. Or another idea is maybe do it in 2 separate mixtures. So, because what I did, you know, I poured everything and then I brought it to emulsification, even though I did just barely bring it to that. When it's sitting there, it does start to set up. So, you know, pour this layer, do this layer with one set of the batter, and then while that's all setting up, go ahead and mix that in separately and use a different fragrance that doesn't have any acceleration or anything. So there was, as of right now, there's no discolorations, but here I did the titanium dioxide. This one I did put a little bit in, but not too much because that tends to thicken things up. But I'm really happy with how these turned out. I think the layers in there with the sky looks really cool with the clouds, and then you have a little bit of that texture. So it just, you know, it looks really cool with the mountains and everything. So I'm really happy with how these turned out. Definitely will do something like this again in the future. And I'm going to go ahead and trim up the edges. I don't know if I'm going to stamp these or if I'll just stamp like one corner of it because I don't want my stamp to take over the whole look. So I may just do maybe something here, I'm not quite sure, or stamp the opposite side.